Joe, on low tone, what's the quote of the day?
In a world of constipation and diarrhea, it's okay to be a normal piece of shit sometimes.
Every night, around about 8 o'clock, I walk through my house like this. Put the kids in bed, say good night, I love y'all, good night, I love y'all, and I just walk around the house just like this. So one day, my buddy was over, he's like, hey man, why do you do that? Why do you do that every night? Every night I come over here, you always at the same time around 8 o'clock, walk around your house like this. I said it's simple. That way, my kids get used to hearing the sound.
Speak up, but So today, I announced that I was agnostic. Alright, so that was over a year ago, and I wanted to take this time to share what I've learned of my 1 year of leaving Christianity. Number one, I've learned to trust myself. Since I started being a Christian, I was taught that my heart was deceitfully wicked and it could not be trusted. So I barely knew myself and I definitely didn't trust myself. Since I left, I found peace in the belief that all my actions aren't being logged, that I'm not being checked, that my name isn't being blotted out of the book of life. I learned that I help and I love people more authentically when it comes from a sense of compassion versus duty and a denying of self. And the more as time goes by and I don't have that pressure, the more I find what my true self thinks and feels independent of religion. The second biggest lesson that I've learned since leaving Christianity is how to love myself. See, I've been taught that God loved and accepted me despite myself. I realized that I love and accept myself because every living thing is worthy of love. Number three is I learned to respect people's religious beliefs. I believe there's a lot of people who need religion. I believe there's a lot of people who need comfort from life's uncertainties. And some people need it simply because they believe they need it. And I get that. When I see somebody going through something as tragic as death, right, I see the comfort in the story that heaven brings them. I don't think something necessarily has to be real to be valuable. Number four is that I am not alone. I found community through a lot of my parasocial relationships. I gotta say that I would not be here if it wasn't for many of you. And so I want to leave y'all with that. Thank you guys so much. Like and follow for more.
So that's what the crunch is.
Y'all ever realize that women with good coochie don't go around bragging about it? They just go about their day drinking all the caffeine and being mean to men. It's like, I see you, you little sneaky, mean, grippy queen. I'm on to you.
She didn't tell you were handsome today. Fuck that whore. Get a new one. Don't settle for less. Do not settle for less.
Who's your celebrity doppelganger?
I have never been told I have one.
Really?
No.
You don't think you look like any celebrity?
No.
Hi, Andy. Who does she look like?
Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson.
I don't have the...
Yeah.
And I got a 40.
This shit right here for the travel zone.
I don't have many rules for my house, but I do have one. And that is that we never, ever, 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 ever use the big light.
I'm sorry. Just, you know what I mean? Because here's the deal, right? Come here. In the great words of Lil Jon, what? You know what I mean? Because here, fun fact, right? Spiders do, in fact, nest in drains. However, apparently, they don't like the smell of peppermint or pine. So if you have those types of scented soaps and they're in the drain, it will prevent them from nesting. Come here. If that was the case, right, my whole house would smell like Christmas 24/7. Because with that many spiders in a drain, right, we're just going to have to find a different way to
PhD
be.
brain literally makes no sense. Like, you're telling me that my brain works extremely well under pressure. I come up with the most creative ideas. I problem solve like there's no tomorrow. I can read and type faster than anyone I know. And let's not even begin with multitasking. But you're telling me that my brain that can do all of that finds it too overwhelming to get dressed in the morning. That same brain cannot remember to feed the body that it's attached to. Make it make sense.
Me? Obsessed with you? Yes. Yes, I am, bitch.
Look, so this is why I don't be going to the grocery store, man. This old ass lady gonna just take my stuff and knock it to the side while I'm trying to scan it. And then she gonna start scanning her. Like, look, old lady, I fight over people, like, you know, so then, like, once I got her in the head, like,
Up there and get one of these.
What's that?
It's a bad bitch, fuck the bitch. Bitch get slick, I'ma cut the bitch. I'm a bad bitch, suck some dick. If that bitch gets slick, I'll cut.
Sensational.
Hey, Alan.
What?
Who's your favorite Disney princess?
Who's your favorite fucking Disney princess?
Kida from Atlantis. But who's yours?
Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
Why?
She's a bookworm.
Okay.
Bookworms are freaks. Everybody knows that.
So why don't you worship Jesus? So roughly every 2,150 years or an age, the sun moves into one of the 12 zodiacal constellations. So one complete cycle of all 12 zodiac takes about 25,772 years, which ancient societies called the Great Year. Okay, but what does that have to do with Jesus? Well, let's follow the trail. Influenced by ancient Mesopotamian mythology, the Jewish people were exiled in Babylonia, and they recorded the Mazzaroth in the Hebrew Bible, or the Tanakh, around 1200 to 100 BCE. Mazzaroth means constellations. It was a mnemonic device to name the stars in 12 constellations. Also around 2nd BCE, the Sefer Yetzirah and the Kabbalah connects each of the 12 tribes of Jacob to the constellations. And the 12 tribes of Israel connects to 12 disciples or 12 apostles in the New Testament. 12 even goes into Islam, 12 imams, 12 springs. Wow, it's like Christianity is a astro-theological literary hybrid. Yeah, nice phrase. You must have watched the Zeitgeist movie or something. There's also the 12 gates, 12 pearls, 12 foundations, 12 stones, 12 archangels. It's connected to the 12 constellations of the ancient Mesopotamian zodiac that Jesus, the sun, travels about with. Whoa, dude. Jesus is just a solar personification of the sun. Yeah, so the age of Taurus, 4300 BCE to 2150 BCE. Then you have the age of Aries from 2150 BCE to 1 CE. So then we have Jesus, fisher of men, representing the age of Pisces, 1 CE, his birth year, even if he existed at all, to 2150 CE, which we're currently in. The two Pisces fish are seen throughout the Bible. Jesus feeds people with bread and 2 fish. He befriends 2 fishermen at a point. And it's funny to note that the Jesus fish on the back of cars, most Christians have no idea about it being a pagan symbol. I can't believe Jesus is just a parody of sun worshiping. Jesus the Son is the risen Savior that will come again. It brings the morning glory to defend us from darkness and death. The sun walks on water, heals the sick. It is seen up in the clouds in the heavens with a crown of thorns that I wager connects to Helios, another solar deity, to represent the rays of the sun. Christianity is a contrived Roman story to create social control, and they use Jesus as a social political figure. Constantine implemented this, which led to the Vatican, the Dark Ages, the Crusades, the Inquisition, and now we have conformist young life kids taking pictures of disenfranchised children from Haiti to get likes on their Facebook posts. Wow, I wonder what the one true religion is. There isn't one. Weren't you listening? Just be grateful for the sun. What are you doing? After careful critical thought, I've decided to become a Mormon. Jesus Christ.
It would be so awesome. It would be so cool.
So here's some information you might want to know. The whole past life reincarnation thing might be more mainstream than we know. The University of Virginia actually has an entire department that studies it. It's called the Division of Perceptual Studies, and they've done a ton of research on children who remember their past lives. And in fact, children remembering their past lives is so common, they have an entire page dedicated to advice to parents of children who are spontaneously recalling past life memories. What? They've studied over 2,500 cases of kids who remember their past life, and they've actually verified that some of these kids who they say they were in a past life actually did exist. Kids who remember their past lives are around the ages of 1 to 4. After that, from 5 to 7, it starts to fade. They also typically talk about the last life they lived, and the average time spent from the death of that previous life to the birth of who they are now is around 15 months. Often their birthmark did signify how they were killed in a past life. So my question is, how long is it until we collectively realize that death is not the end, it's just a doorway?
My parents were the ones who bought me booze. They taught me about date rape and told me to never accept liquor from anybody else. I was around 12 when my dad handed me my first drink and told me he wanted me to learn how alcohol affected my body in a supervised environment because he knew that if he didn't do it, some other guy was going to, and I would end up chugging a whole Mickey for the first time and dying of alcohol poisoning. He also taught me about protected sex and the ways that men will manipulate you and the things they'll say to you to try and justify not using it. And he told me that I always need to have it on hand because they're deliberately not going to. As soon as I wanted to get on birth control, my mom was like, yeah, let's go. I'll pay for it. He taught me about drunk driving. Any hour of the night, Jess, you need a ride, we'll be there. However, I've never liked the taste of liquor, so I didn't ever really drink. I rarely ever went out to parties and stuff like that. It just wasn't my scene. But when I did, I could see that no other kid there got those fucking lessons because people were drinking for the first time and getting taken advantage of, getting hospitalized. I would see groups of girls, one of their friends is too fucked up to be there, and rather than helping her, they're just watching her with secondhand embarrassment. Like, oh my God. I was 6 years old when they were giving me the Birds and the Bees books. Because there was 8-year-old girls in my class getting their fucking period who had no idea what even was happening. My dad would tell me all the type of things dudes say to try to get girls to sleep with them. And he'd be like, I know this shit, because I fucking used to do it. My dad taught me to never let another man teach me how to ride a motorcycle. Because while my hands would be on the handlebars and I can't let go, the dude can cop a feel. Unlike everybody else's parents, my parents remembered what it was like to be a teenager. And they knew that these things were going to happen whether they were the ones teaching me about them or not. There was actually a time when I was 16 and I went to the gas station to buy condoms and the lady asked for my ID. And she told me I couldn't buy them because I wasn't 18. And I was like, babe, that's not a law. What the fuck? Would you prefer I catch something like a baby? I've seen a lot of parents who know that their kids are intimate, but don't allow it in their home because of boundaries. However, all my first intimate experiences were under my father's roof, and I feel like that reduced my risk factor because these dudes were not acting up when it was one yell from me away for some big fucking scary man to be up in this bedroom. Because the alternative is in some dude's truck on a back road in the middle of nowhere where you have no way to escape or even get home if you need to get out of that situation, and there is no one anywhere that's gonna hear you. I'd prefer that shit happens in the room next to me rather than beside some trash can outside a party or isolated in the middle of nature. So I really respect that about them because I've seen the consequences of parents who did not do that.
Before you guys get into bed, switch sides. If you always sleep on the left,
I'll be honest with you, that's some of the most disturbing shit I've ever heard in my life. Like, genuinely, I would be less freaked out if you were like, remember the mom from the Brady Bunch? Well, my husband and I, every 6 months, we build an altar to the mom from the Brady Bunch, and then we pray at it night and day for 28 days, and then on the 28th day, we sacrifice a goat in honor of the mom from the Brady Bunch. If you told me that, I'd be like, wow, that's a unusual religion, but whatever, like First Amendment, Godspeed to that goat though. But sleeping on multiple sides of the bed periodically throughout a marriage, that's effed up, man.
Did you know some people don't like you? Did you know all porcupines can float? I said some people don't like you. Did you know that? Did you know the whole 9 yards comes from the P-51 Mustangs in World War II? When they're completely out of ammo, it took 9 yards of belt-fed ammo to fill it back up. They needed the whole 9 yards. You don't give a fuck, do you? Fuck no. But I don't even look both ways when I cross the street anymore.
And he said, Dad, guess which is it? Is it NBA or NFL? 36 have been accused of spousal abuse. 7 have been arrested for fraud. 19 have been accused of writing bad checks. 117 have directly or indirectly been bankrupted at least 2 businesses. 3 have done time for assault. 71, I repeat, 71 cannot get a credit card due to their bad credit. 14 have been arrested on drug-related charges. 8 have been arrested for shoplifting. 21 currently are defendants in lawsuits, and 84 have been arrested for drunk driving in the last year. How many of you think NBA? How many of you think NFL? Well, the answer is neither. It's the 435 members of the United States Congress.
Well, someone told me how much you like cock sandwiches today, but I took up for you. I told them you don't even like bread.
Sit down. Who told Dad WAP stood for wings and pizza? No. I'm highly aggravated. Now, he just invited all of our friends over for WAP. That's not what it stands for. It's not wings and pizza.
The birth rate in the United States is rapidly declining, and you can't protect capitalism without worker bees, and we can't have worker bees without poor people reproducing, so we have to force the people who are like in poverty to continue reproducing to make more worker bees for capitalism. So if you think for 1 second that this isn't coming down the pipeline at one point or another, you are confused. You are not paying attention, because your government will absolutely sacrifice women in the name of protecting capitalism at all costs. So every time I say to sterilize yourself, I am not being hyperbolic. I mean it literally. Because even in death, or in this case brain death, we're still not safe from men. Sterilize yourselves.
All right, 3 options. Option 1, you get a full-time job and we put our son in daycare.
No.
Option 2, we move somewhere cheaper.
No.
Option 3, I sell your old underwear.
Do I get new underwear?
Sure.
Who buys the old underwear?
It's better that you don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to know. Do I have to do anything?
No.
Just give you a pile of my old underwear?
Yeah.
And I don't have to get a job?
No.
Okay. I mean, who would say no to that?